there are still people stuck at the moment, unable to escape the shopping centre, presumably because one of these people is still at large at the moment. It looks like the shots fired, or at least one of them was potentially the knife attacker being taken out by armed police. I'm not 100% aware at the moment whether or not these people were armed with guns or they just had knives. Not sure yet how many people have been injured in this, how many fatalities there will be. But yeah, it does appear that as of yet, it's still effectively an active situation.
Well, let's head straight now to Sydney to get more on that breaking news story, which has emerged in the last 10 minutes or so, that a major police operation is underway after reports of multiple stabbings at a shopping centre near Bondi Beach. Adam Hancock is a journalist. He's there now. Morning, Adam.
Good morning.
What information do we have about what's happened at this shopping centre?
So I'm just trying to piece together really the information. We're getting various bits and bobs from different media outlets here, and also from the police, ambulance services, what people are saying on social media as well. It appears that there has been a number of stabbings and also a shooting at the Bondi Junction Westfield shopping mall. The police say that a man has been shot after reports of multiple stabbings. There are numerous eyewitnesses reporting that they heard gunshots at the scene this afternoon. It's believed that a number of people are injured. A critical incident has been declared. The shopping centre has been evacuated, although I understand that there are still people within the shopping centre who are unable to escape at the moment, because this is potentially an ongoing situation. We're seeing shots from helicopters from news outlets here in Australia flying over the shopping complex. Huge amount of emergency services at the scene. Armed police also conducting searches on the roof where a car park is located as well. And it's the ambulance service actually who confirmed that a number of people are still trapped inside the shopping centre. But again, with many of these kind of breaking news situations, there's a lot of information flying around, and it's hard to get an accurate picture of exactly what has happened at the moment.
Of course. And we must bear in mind, this is mid-afternoon it happened in Sydney.
Yes, yeah. So I think the first reports of this came in around about 3:45 in the afternoon. And it's in Bondi Junction, which is a very busy area in Sydney. It's quite a wealthy part of the city in the east. It's very popular with students. And the Westfield shopping complex where this is, I've been there myself. It's much like the Westfield shopping centres we get back in the UK. So on a Saturday afternoon, this is going to be a very popular area. It's a gateway to Bondi Beach, which is, of course, hugely popular with tourists and Sydneysiders alike. And it's also a big transport hub as well. So this kind of incident on a Saturday afternoon, it's effectively the equivalent of something happening at Westfield in Stratford or on Oxford Street. It's that kind of situation. And you can see actually from the social media videos that are starting to drip out huge amounts of people escaping the scene and fleeing the scene, and it looks incredibly chaotic.
I'm reading here that a spokesperson for New South Wales Ambulance said that there were 2 alleged offenders. One has been shot by police and they're hunting another.
Yes, yeah, that's the same information I'm seeing as well. So that adds really to the idea that there are still people stuck at the moment, unable to escape the shopping centre, presumably because one of these people is still at large at the moment. It looks like the shots fired, or at least one of them was potentially the knife attacker being taken out by armed police. I'm not 100% aware at the moment whether or not these people were armed with guns or they just had knives. Not sure yet how many people have been injured in this, how many fatalities there will be. But yeah, it does appear that as of yet, it's still effectively an active situation.
What's the security situation like in Sydney at the moment? I mean, has there been any concerns about the security situation? I mean, are there threats commonly seen in Sydney?
It's not a particularly common thing. I mean, it sounds a bit silly to say for a big city, but Sydney is incredibly relaxed. It's not something that day to day people really think about. I just spoke to a family member who's Australian who's saying this would be the first incident like this in a number of years in Sydney. Multiple people possibly stabbed or killed in the one incident. It's not something that really happens here across Australia. Really, we obviously saw a large amount of terrorist attacks in Europe and in the United Kingdom in recent years, whereas in Australia that hasn't been something that happens. The authorities here, like everywhere else in the world, are certainly careful, and you do see a decent police presence around Sydney. Particularly when there are difficult moments such as protests or heightened alert. But it's not something that you really sort of link to Sydney on a day-to-day basis. It's something probably you'd be more accustomed to hearing about in major capital cities in Europe, whereas this part of the world doesn't really seem to be affected by these kind of mass stabbing incidents or multiple shootings, things like that.
Adam, thank you so much for coming to speak to us this morning, and I know you'll stay across this story. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's Adam Hancock. He's a journalist based in Sydney. So just to keep you right up to date with the lines that are coming out of Sydney, there's this major police operation underway at a shopping centre near Bondi Beach. Hundreds of people have been evacuated after, well, we know there have been reports of multiple stabbings. I'm just reading now as well on website here, ABC News in Australia, suggesting there could be some deaths as well. Eyewitnesses say shots were fired. There are lots of quotes coming in as well from New South Wales Ambulance Service. They're saying that there were 2 alleged offenders. One has been shot by police. They are hunting another. As you can imagine, lots of helicopters, news helicopters at the scene. There's a large number of emergency vehicles on site. There is a search ongoing by armed police on the roof of the car park. Many videos being uploaded to social media at the moment. We do understand, Adam telling us there, that there are some people still trapped inside the shopping centre. And yeah, it is clearly an ongoing situation. It happened around 4:45 in the afternoon, Sydney time. Obviously, we will stay across that as and when we get more information. We will, of course, bring it to you here on Times Radio Breakfast.